What is up? If you're watching this, that means you got another day. Welcome to Beverly Hills, California. We're here for a really special car. I'm actually at McLaren in Beverly Hills, and we're gonna try to take the best car they have in the showroom out for a spin. Say hello to the McLaren Elva. This is one of McLaren's newest additions to their fleet. Don't mind the Senna in the background. We actually got the keys to this prototype vehicle for the day, and we're gonna take it around Malibu, do some photo and press shooting for Edmunds and Forbes. Huge shout out to Carl over there who's talking to the McLaren rep. We're gonna go over all the numbers and performance specs of this car. I'll bore you with that later. Most importantly, we're gonna get inside of it and take for a spin so you guys can know firsthand what this car feels like, what user experience is like. Both Carl and I have driven pretty much everything McLaren has to offer, so it'd be really interesting to compare the Elva against other McLarens and other supercars. See how it stacks up against Lamborghini and Porsche or any of the other fun cars we've been able to get our hands on lately. So let's jump right into it. All right, first impressions, Carl.
It's a lot of money. Don't break it.
Don't break it. Yeah, there's no lift on this thing. There's no lift on this supercar. I thought R8s were the only ones that didn't have a lift. So yeah, casually just drive around this vehicle they handed us from the center of the showroom as they all watch you slowly pull out of the driveway and pray that you don't scratch anything.
With no lift.
Yeah, and it's a bit of an eye catcher. So Beverly Hills PD, we want all the smoke. Carl, if you just outrun them, what are they gonna do? Find the one neon green McLaren in Beverly Hills?
Exactly.
There were two of them. So our first stop is actually at KTLA. They want to do a stand-up story for the news on this car, which is cool. I'm finding out this car costs $1.7 million, which basically takes it to the top of the list for the most expensive cars I've ever been in / driven. Until then, it was actually Carl's personal 4GT at around 800,000 to $1 million, give or take. How many miles are on it? But 1.7 definitely takes the cake. There are only 149 of these ever, and this is the first one. I think this thing's the first one. And it's cool shooting for KTLA because when I had driven my first ever McLaren, it was a 720 for a rental company, and we brought it over to KTLA to do a stand-up on the 720. So that was years ago. We've upgraded. We're in the Elva now. So the Mini Cooper there, license plate says one of 140, which technically makes it more exclusive than this car, which is one of 149, right?
I know which car I'd rather be driving.
Shoot.
Obviously that one.
Should have gotten a Goodwood Mini. Okay, at least as a passenger, I'm noticing right off the bat, the ride quality of this car is actually really smooth. And the roads in Santa Monica right now are garbage. So the suspension, we're on comfort suspension. Okay, that might have something to do with it, but it's actually really nice. And you were saying it's because it doesn't have like the roof and it doesn't have the doors and... Yeah,
well, the body is super stiff, but clearly McLaren can tune the suspension to keep the car from feeling floppy and not beat you up at the same time, even over bad roads.
The other thing is we're in a part of Santa Monica right now where I was putting the first ever miles on a McLaren I'd ever driven in that same 720. And I remember I was trying to show it off to a client that was interested in buying it. And we were lined up next to a ambulance at a red light. And the ambulance was like on the bullhorn. They go, "Do you want to race?" And I was like, "Absolutely." So I look over the client. I'm like, "Are you good with this red light race?" He was like, "Yes." And as soon as it turned green, the ambulance turned their sirens on and we took off, but I accidentally bumped the car into valet mode, so the car stopped right at 20 miles an hour. So he zipped off the line and then went straight to 20, and the ambulance came up next to us and they're like, "This is the slowest McLaren ever." I was like, oh man, and I lost the race. And I couldn't figure out how to get it out of valet mode. It was like the second time I'd ever driven the car. The client did not buy the McLaren. All right, here's where things are a lot similar to other McLarens, which is kind of cool. You can switch the powertrain here from comfort to sport with this toggle. Normally on the 720s or other McLarens, it's right here. And then the toggle over here for the handling. We have a airbag fault code on the car. Go figure, it's a McLaren. There's gonna be a code somewhere, but that'll be okay. The display does not fold away like a 720 does. This one's gonna stay here, but a lot of these controls, even the steering wheel, are identical to most other McLarens. You can still shift up or down on either side, which is cool. We have some buttons over here. Similar to anything else you see in McLaren, I don't know what this one does. It has an arrow pointing up over the windshield. I'm not gonna push it. I don't know if that releases the windshield. God forbid I push something. I don't know what it does, so we're not gonna hit it. Familiar start-stop button. drive, neutral, reverse, same as any other McLaren. And literally everything is carbon fiber seats, the back end here, the floorboards, the dash, the entire chassis, the door. The car weighs 2,800 pounds. Hello, sir, can I help you? What do you have there?
Excuse me.
Oh, the first place that we have to go.
I don't think we authorized this car to park here.
Lunch break. You can bill Lamborghini, or you can bill McLaren Beverly Hills. All right, let's cut it off and eat food. I came to this Chick-fil-A and it was a splurge item when I first started in LA, and we're back in a $1.7 million car and it's still a splurge item. I still can't afford Chick-fil-A. Only in Santa Monica will you accidentally run into an Aventador just on the street while you're driving around. Peasants driving around your stock Aventador. All right, second location. Mommy's just sitting in her AC in the car, and there, Carl's over here shooting Denise. With a car this bright, it reflects literally every bit of sunlight. We needed shade, and shade is hard to find at like 2 o'clock in the afternoon in Malibu. So we found this. Look at how bright it is over there and over there. Perfect. We're poking out in the road a little bit, but that's okay. I've been shooting 28 to 75 millimeter. That looks really good for portraits. So now we're gonna shoot 50 millimeter prime lens. So the background is all blurry and the image is really sharp. This goes down to a 1.4 aperture for all the photography people. This is definitely gonna make the model the focus because it's so sharp. The car is even gonna be a bit blurry in the background. My aperture is at like 7 in the last location and I still couldn't keep the sun off the car. But here it's so much easier, so I can work with much better colors. Because the other thing is when the car is blown out on all the videos and iPhone stories and everything we're shooting today, it almost looks white or yellow because there's so much sun reflecting off it. So this is one of the unique cars where even though it's wrapped and it's not like paint and glossy, it is reflecting literally everything. I picked the worst day to forget my sunglasses. I'll show you. Carl, where do you put gas in this car? We're running low.
It's so fuel efficient, you never have to put gas.
Oh, you just throw it away and buy a new one. Okay.
The gas is a tricky thing. Imagine you've pulled into the gas station and it's time to fill it up. You gotta pop this baby and then you're on the wrong side, Will.
Oh my gosh.
Here's your fuel filler.
Make this so complicated. Oh.
So every time you put gas in it, it's like opening your trunk.
That's okay. Okay, McLaren. All right, what is this? What is this?
Those are the air cleaners.
Oh, you mean like an air filter for the engine?
Sorry, yeah, air filter.
I was like, does it like purify air or something? It's the air filter.
I used the wrong word.
This is the only car I've ever seen that allows you to see the carbon fiber cap on it, because other cars you put them in and it doesn't even matter. Yeah. By the way, that's your trunk. That's all you get. There's no hood to this.
And if you want to put water in, it's right here.
Where do you put, water in the car?
Yeah,
Coolant.
Since you can't open the hood,
right here,
quote unquote, to see the vehicle's engine, that's where you service the water.
That's hilarious. Oh, we also have 4 exhaust tips, 1, 2, and then 2 of them pointing up. I wonder if you make it callous, then you get fire to come out of 4 different directions. That would be cool. This car is begging for an aftermarket exhaust. I will say, it sounds almost identical to any stock 720, 765, 675, 600, it doesn't matter. They all sound the same from the factory, but you put the right exhaust system on this car, especially if you make it catalyst, and it will probably wake it up. Because this is a twin turbo V8, correct?
Twin turbo
yes.
V8, 800 horsepower.
Okay, yeah, so if cats come loose on this thing and you put a proper system on it, I can definitely see this car screaming. But yeah, over 800 horsepower, this thing weighs 2,800 pounds. It's a Miata on steroids. You will outrun everything. And well, at least not the police, because you're easy to find. You're the only neon green McLaren in Los Angeles. All right, that pretty much does it for today's episode. The Elva is back at McLaren Beverly Hills. Huge treat to get to drive this thing around. It was a ton of fun. Overall, I think this thing is definitely special compared to other McLarens. It is a showstopper, no doubt, not just because of the wrap, but no top on it, the amount of horsepower, your bang for your buck, even though the buck is very high. It's a special car, no doubt. One of 149, it was a real treat to get to drive it around. So highly recommend it if you ever get the opportunity. If you don't already follow the channel, make sure you subscribe, hit the little red button, and click the notification bell. I upload videos like this every time something special happens. Remember, so if you see a new video, it's gonna be something crazy. We'll catch you at the next episode. Peace.
I might lie to you just to get through the night with you. Hope that's alright. No, you lie to me. It's all